CIL 650 presents It's Your Money, an up-close and personal look at your finances. Here's your host, Fred Snyder.
Up in the morning and out to school. The teacher is teaching the
Oh yeah, we're back. Remind you once again, ladies and gentlemen, this is the live part of the show. And you can phone in. We expect you to phone in. We share this show with you, our listeners, and we want your calls. I don't want to stand here in front of this mic and preach and preach and preach. I want to have conversations with you, our listeners. So if you're a client, if you've attended a workshop, if you're a curious listener and you want more information, or you have a question regarding your money, get on the line and give us a call. That's the name of the show. It's Your Money and How to Keep It. And really, most of us don't do a very good job when it comes to keeping money. We earn a small fortune during our lifetimes, and we usually end up broke. And the main reason is we do not have a written financial plan. Now, I've said that over and over and over again, and yet most people that come into my office for a second opinion on their investment portfolio do not have a written financial plan. In the last few shows that we've done, we were fortunate to have a guest, Timothy Lack, who is an estate planning lawyer, and we were talking about estate planning. Someone once said, the only two certain things in life are taxes and death. So if there's anybody out there right now that has a formula that they've figured out where they're never going to die, I'd like to know about it. Because I'd like to share that particular philosophy, because I don't want to die, and I don't think anybody does. But death is an absolute certainty. And the moment you die, you're deemed to have sold everything you own. You're deemed to have disposed of all of your wealth at fair market value, which is determined by CRA at that time. They do an evaluation of everything you own and say, this is the value of everything you own, so let's pretend you sold it. And if you sold it, how much capital gain would you have to pay? And they calculate that. And then they said, well, tell you what, we know you didn't sell it. Your executor didn't sell it on your behalf, but let's just pretend you sold it. You would owe us $500,000 in tax, so give us the money anyway. That's what happens. And if you haven't planned for that eventuality, if you haven't created the liquidity that you need inside of your estate to provide for that money, you have a problem. And there's ways to solve that problem, but you have to do it early in the game, not late in the game. And that is the second last part of your financial plan. So if you had a binder with 10 subdivisions in it, that would be number 9, estate planning. That's about your will and all that kind of stuff. And I'm just kind of doing a review. But you might have some questions on that particular subject. I'm flying solo today, so I don't have a guest. Maybe one will show up pretty soon, but I don't think so. But in any event, I'm quite happy to take your questions, your calls, whatever, your comments. So get on the line and give us a call. Everybody who calls gets a second opinion in writing on their investment portfolio. I review about 4 situations every day. Second opinion on your investment portfolio, a written financial plan, absolutely pro bono, no cost whatsoever, no obligation of any kind. So that's a chance to kind of kick the tires and see what it looks like. So you want to check me out, make an appointment with Frida, come into the office and have a chat with me about your money and how to keep it. So you can reach Frida right now down at the office at area code 604-737-3512. If you're calling long distance, it's 1-800-661-1495. She'll be happy to take your call. If you're not shy and you want to call the radio show, you want to talk live, you can call me right now. Again, I remind you, it's live, 604-280-0650. If you're calling long distance, it's 877-280-0650. And some of my listeners, when they come to see me, have commented that I give the numbers out too fast. So I'm going to slow down and give them out once again. Suggest you get a pad, pencil, take some notes, write the numbers down. Share your time, your thoughts, your questions with us and the rest of our listeners, and give us a call. 604-280-0650. The 650 is easy to remember. That's the station's call letters. Okay? So 604-280-0650. If you're calling long distance, it's 1-877-280-0650. That's no cost to you. So give us a call. We want to talk to you about your money. You want to log on, you can log on, www.CIL650.com. Log on and you can see what we look like live on your computer screen. And incidentally, modern technology is incredible. It doesn't matter where you are in the world, you can log on. You can log on in your cell phone and watch it on your cell phone, on your iPhone. Doesn't matter what device you have, you can log on. And it doesn't matter where you are. You could be in New Zealand. Maybe you have a brother in New Zealand or somebody, a relative that you want to watch this show. Give them a call. Tell them to log on. Once again, log on, www.CISL650.com. Frida down at the office, 604-737-3512. And you call Frida if you really want to do something. If it's more than just a question or a comment, you might want to make an arrangement to see myself for a second opinion on your investment portfolio. That's the time to call Frida. Once again, 604-737-3512. Want to have lots of calls, so make me work hard today. Okay, I have a giveaway. I have a board game called Cash Flow 101. At the end of the show, we're going to have a draw for that. That's a $250 value. Someone will win Cash Flow 101. So lots of calls. Here's a chance to win a nice board game. It actually teaches you financial planning if you play the game. Like Monopoly doesn't teach you much. This is actually a learning experience, Cash Flow 101. So again, lots of opportunity to win things. And we'll also have a draw. I will provide a listener with I will pay the cost of preparing a will. So if you have a situation where you need an updated will or a new will or a review of your will, I'll cover the cost of that. So 2 draws near the end of the show for both of those prizes. Talk to us about your money and how to keep it. The most important thing in life is your money, but more importantly than that is how to keep it. Because you see, if you spend everything you earn, it's not your money anymore. It's somebody else's money. You can't spend 100% of what you earn. Someone once said, how do you get out of the hole? The answer is simple. You stop digging. Okay? You want to get out of the hole, you stop digging. And that's an analogy that basically says, don't spend everything you earn. If you spend more than you earn, you're going in the hole. And you get in there deeper and deeper and deeper. You want to get out of debt? Stop spending more than what you earn. The better you can do that, the more effectively you're going to become debt-free. If you have debts and the interest rates are high and not deductible, that's called bad debt. If you have debt and the interest rates are low and the interest rate is tax deductible, the interest you're paying is tax deductible, that's called good debt. And usually the debt has an asset, an underlying asset where the money was borrowed to buy something. So you borrow money to buy a car and you're paying high interest rates and it's not tax deductible, that's bad debt. If you borrow money to buy real estate and the interest is tax deductible, that is probably good debt because the underlying asset usually appreciates. So everybody, if you have debt and you're listening to this show right now, your objective should be to get rid of bad debt or convert your bad debt to good debt. I'm going to say that again. If you have debt right now, is it bad debt? If you have any of that, you have to convert that to good debt or just pay it off. Let's take some calls. Let's talk to Mavis from Vancouver. Mavis, welcome to the program.
Good morning, Fred.
Good morning, Mavis.
How long a timeline does CRA give one to pay the taxes when in the estate? I heard sometimes it takes a few years to settle the estate.
It could, yes. I don't know. That, I guess, would depend on the estate. They have to do the calculations. So, see, this is what happens. Again, if you think about it, you have to establish what is the market value of your estate or the assets inside your estate. What is the market value of those assets? That's not necessarily black and white. So maybe there's a house involved, so you got to get an appraisal on the house. Okay? So how do you determine that? If you haven't got some paperwork to back up the determination, you're almost in the hands of the tax people, CRA, because they can deem that your house is worth $2 million when it's only worth $1 million. You have to prove that it's worth what you think it's worth, and you need documentation to do that. So you have to establish what's known as the adjusted cost base of all your assets, and then the market value. So what is and so those are two kind of fuzzy numbers. They're not necessarily black and white. I think you can probably establish if you have good documentation what you paid for those assets, but many people can't, because it might have been, you might have built a cabin on Bowen Island 30 years ago. What did it cost you today? If you think back to today, what was the cost of building that cabin? If you don't have good records, then you leave that up to the judgment of CRA to figure it out. That's a problem. So most people need a good accountant to be able to track their assets and their liabilities, and basically remember, once again, when you die, you're deemed to have sold it all. But at what price? That's the key to the whole thing. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, I know, but the timeline, that's the thing.
Well, but sometimes that takes time.
Yeah.
That probate is one of the issues there, because probate really means that's the certification of your will to be valid. So whatever's in your will, what are the set of numbers? What's the validity of the numbers that's inside the will? These are more questions for an accountant or a lawyer. I'm a financial generalist, basically, but the generalities that I'm talking about are there. They're valid.
So like CRA is the only thing they don't tax is your house tax, right? Your personal house.
There's two things. There's your TFSA and your personal residence. Yes.
But probate is everything is taxed, even your house.
No. People confuse probate with taxes. Probate is more a fee than a tax. Probate in British Columbia is 1.4%. That's paid to the province of British Columbia, and the probate process has to do with validating your will to be valid. Let's say, for example, that you have 3 children, and you disinherit one of your children. That's probably not a valid will, because you can't do that under what's known as the Wills Variation Act. There's a new act now, I forget the new name for it, but it's the same concept. So if you have 3 children and you have assets inside your estate, those assets have to be shared equally with your 3 children, generally speaking. Now, the ideal situation in British Columbia is not to have anything inside your estate. So if you can set your assets up so they're owned jointly with other people, it automatically goes to the joint owner in the event of your death. Or you set it up in such a way that you can name beneficiaries, such as in the case of an RRSP, a RIF, or a TFSA, or even an RESP. So you name a direct beneficiary, it bypasses the state. So it's not part of the probate process if you can accomplish the bypass. So it's a little confusing sometimes, and that's why sometimes you need to sit down with somebody like myself and sort it all out. Now, I'm not sure I answered your question to your satisfaction.
Anyway, okay, thank you.
So I hope that was helpful, Mavis. And again, if you want to make an appointment to see myself for a second opinion, an evaluation of your situation, give Frida a call. Once again, you can reach Frida right now down at the office at area code 604-737-3512. Give her a call, and I really appreciate your call, and enjoy this lovely weekend.
Thank you.
Okay, take care. Okay, Mavis's line is now open, so ladies and gentlemen and listeners out there, if you just joined us, remind you once again, I'm certified financial planner Fred Snyder, also a registered financial planner, and I represent Scotia McLeod, and my mission in life basically is to teach people what they need to know to make better financial decisions. That's why I do this radio show. It's part of the learning process. So I'm trying to teach people, and I think the best way to teach people is to share experiences. So you're out there, you're listening to the show right now, and maybe you've done some stupid things with your finances, and maybe you've done some really great things. Well, you should share that with all of us. So if you've done that, if you've done something great, I've had some callers call in many times and say, well, I did this, and that was fantastic. And you share that with everybody. Isn't that kind of nice to be able to do that? Successful people like to share their success with others. Okay? So if you have succeeded in something, Give us the story. Give us a phone call. On the other hand, maybe you did something stupid, and you're never going to do it again. But maybe you should warn everybody. Whatever you do, don't do that. Okay? Just think about what I'm saying here. It's so important because it's not about how much you make that counts. It's about how much you keep. And the only way that you're going to keep some of what you make is not to spend everything you make. And that means a budget. So if you haven't got a budget, you're stupid. Okay? Now, I just called a lot of people stupid. Maybe I'd get a lot of people to give me a phone call right now, and the lines will just burn up. But the bottom line is, Einstein once said, doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting a different result, is the definition of insanity. Okay? So if doing the same thing over and over and over again is trying to operate without a budget, and you've been doing that all your life and you wonder why you're not accumulating money, that's why. Would you expect any different result? And maybe you don't know how to do a budget. Maybe you need some help. That's okay. Come in and see me. A financial plan will put you right on the track, because inside the financial plan is a proper, well-designed budget. Pay yourself first. Budget to pay everybody else. So how much money do you earn? How much do you spend? And is the amount you spend greater than what you earn? And don't feel like you're alone. Even the federal government and the provincial government, the municipalities clear across the country, they do the same thing. They spend more than what they collect in taxes. And they wonder why they're running these huge deficits. You end up, when you have a deficit, that creates interest expense on the deficit, because you got to pay interest on what you owe, and that increases your expenses. It doesn't decrease them. Your objective should be to decrease your expenses, not increase them. So if you have interest expense and it's not tax deductible, you can save money by making your interest tax deductible. So I'm talking to you and all of our listeners right now about how to invest money that you would normally pay out in income tax. So if you can find a way to reduce the taxes you pay, you will have more money to save and invest. That's what you need to do. You need to find more money to save and invest. Now, once you establish that, or once you deal with that particular issue, then you need an investment plan to invest that money. So let's say you can find a way to save $300 a month in income tax. So now you pay $300 a month less taxes than you used to. What are you going to do with the $300? So you say, there's no point in me going to see Snyder. I don't have any money to save and invest. Well, Scotia says you're richer than you think. Okay? Because if you don't have any money to save and invest, I can show you how to find some. I can show you how to reduce what it costs you for your life insurance, and I can show you how to reduce the taxes, and that will triple the amount of money that you're able to save. And I'm not kidding when I say that. And I would never say that live on the air if I couldn't do it. I'd be pretty embarrassed if you came into the office and I said, I don't know how to do that. Okay? It's not true. I do know how to do that. Let's talk to Lily from Burnaby. Lily, welcome to the program.
Hi, morning, Fred.
Good morning, Lily. How you doing?
I'm doing good, thank you.
That's so good.
Yeah. I'm calling in to say thank you for giving us all these talk shows and give us a lot of advice. I do learn a lot by listening to your radio show.
Well, I can't tell you how much I appreciate the comment, because I recognize your voice, so I know who you are. But and that's okay. Nobody should be intimidated, and I really appreciate a call like that. Yes. And I know there's lots of other people in the same boat, and it's a lonely hour that I spend in front of this microphone when I don't have a guest, and when I don't have any callers calling, it makes it even longer, because I can't have any dead air time. I got to just keep talking and talking and talking. And there's lots of ideas that I can share, but it's not easy.
Yeah.
I'm glad it's not 2 hours.
Right. And then I also looking forward to your next seminar.
Yeah, I'm not promoting it hard enough. We're putting together a seminar. I think we have about 30 people now. I said when we get 50, we're going to book a seminar. It's going to be at the Holiday Inn, and it's going to be about financial calculations I think I may change that to 30 ways to ease the tax bite, because I just
Okay.
finished a whole about 150 pages on that particular topic. 30 ways to ease the tax bite.
Yes.
So and really that's what we're talking about here today. You can ease the tax bite. You can now invest money you normally pay out in income tax. Uh, so if I can show you ways to cut back on your taxes, you have more money to save and invest.
Right. Yes. I look forward to that. Yeah.
Okay, so I can't tell you how much I appreciate the call, and you enjoy the rest of the weekend, Lily.
Yes. And you're welcome.
You
Yeah.
take care now.
Bye, Fred. Yeah. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, I just want to run something by because, the world looks like a mess right now, doesn't it? I want you to think about the state of the world. You got issues in Korea, okay, North Korea right now. You got issues in Russia with Putin. You got the Ukraine. You got money problems in Spain, okay? You got all kinds of issues. You got even issues in Cuba right now, okay? The past kind of repeats itself. Israel, think about that one right now, okay? All kinds of issues in the world right now, and we have the price of oil, which has dropped from $100 a barrel to less than $50 a barrel. And CNN the other day said it could go to $10 a barrel. Now, the economy of Canada, 30% of the economy of Canada depends on oil. 30%. Think about what that does to the Canadian economy. That's why the dollar is lower than 80 cents right now. I want you to just let that sink in. On the other side of the border, we have the United States. The United States economy is doing extremely well right now, but the debt burden over there is about $17 trillion. That comes to about $40,000 for every man, woman, and child in the United States. I want you to think about that. And we think we're better off in Canada when it comes to national debt. It's still $40,000 per head in Canada. Not exactly. Don't hold my feet to the fire and say, well, you're out by $1,000. It's close enough. All right? So I want you to think about that. And then having said that, I want to run this one by you. Don't pay too much attention to the media. So you pick up the paper, it's always bad news. Is there very much good news in the paper? Even the Canucks are losing. That's not good news, okay? They're doing better, but they're still not winning enough. Still not winning games that they should win. So bad news or negative stuff in the paper. So don't pay too much attention to the media. Here's some of the things the media might be saying. It's a gloomy moment in the history of our country. Is there anybody out there that would disagree with that? Pretty gloomy. I mean, I got pretty depressed when I introduced this subject a few minutes ago. I'm talking about all the problems in the world right now. I want you to think about it. It's a gloomy moment in the history of our country. The domestic economic situation is in chaos. Think of the price of oil, like I just talked about. 30% of the Canadian economy is oil. And remember this, that it costs about $67 to get a barrel of oil out of the ground from the tar sands. Why would they take any oil out of the ground when they can only sell that same barrel that costs 67 cents, or $67, I should say? Why would they do that when they can only sell it for about 50? So all of a sudden, a whole bunch of people are being laid off, and they're now unemployed. Our dollar is weak throughout the world. Yeah, the dollar is less than 80 cents right now. Prices are so high as to be utterly impossible. Would anybody disagree with that? Are you telling me that the cost of living is going down? I don't see it. The political cauldron seethes and bubbles with uncertainty. We got murder in Russia, okay, just as an example. We got Kim Jong-un launching missiles into the ocean. Strife between North and South Korea right now. I could go on and on endlessly on this particular topic, but the political cauldron seethes and bubbles with uncertainty. I don't think anybody would disagree with that. Russia hangs as usual like a cloud, dark and silent upon the horizon. We may already be in another Cold War. We thought it was over. The ruble was devalued by 90% because of oil. 90%. It's a solemn moment. Of our troubles, no man can see the end. Would you disagree or agree with that? Anybody out there, give us a call if you disagree with any of those statements. Well, guess what? Was that in the Vancouver Province, the Vancouver Sun? What paper was that in? Harper's Magazine, 1847. Think about what I just said. What is new? What has changed? Somehow we cope. Somehow we deal with adversity. And we have to. And when it comes to your money, you have to become proactive with how you deal with your money, not reactive. And proactive, darn it all, proactive means you got to get yourself a proper financial plan and have it updated regularly. I'm going to say it again. You have to get yourself a proper financial plan and updated regularly. And we're not that far into the new year. That should be part of your New Year's resolution, and just backdate it to January the 1st and say today or this year or soon, not way off at some time in the future when God knows what happens, I'm going to get myself a written financial plan. I'm going to start the process. I'm going to take the first step. The longest journey begins with the first step, and that's a step in the right direction. Not doing it is procrastination, and that's a step in the wrong direction. The time to do it, ladies and gentlemen, is now. And now is a phone call. That's the first mini step that you might take. Make a phone call. You don't necessarily have to call me on the air. Call Frida. Make an appointment. She'll be happy to do that. Come in and see me. And we'll sit down and we'll discuss your financial affairs. I'll help you turn your hopes, your plans, your dreams, and your ambitions into meaningful, very specific, achievable goals that are within your reach, that you're able to achieve. And you need to do that if you haven't done it. So once again, area code 604-280-0650, long distance 877-280-0650. Log on, www.cisl650.com. Frida, down at the office, area code 604-737-3522. You're calling long distance, it's 1-800-661-1495. Remember, you get a chance to win Cash Flow 101, which is a board game which will teach you about financial planning. It's a $250 value, and you will get yourself a will update. I will pay for one will update, so I'm not going to do a whole bunch of them, but I'm going to do this by draw near the end of the show. So all you have to do is make a phone call to qualify. So once again, 604-280-0650, long distance, 1-877-280-0650. Frida down at the office, area code 604-737-3512, long distance, 1-800-661-1495. I have Maria from Vancouver on the line. Maria, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Hi, Maria.
How are you?
I'm pretty good. How are you?
I'm terrific. I'm having a good day.
Oh, that's good.
I was just listening to your comment, and I'm also going to make an observation. You can decide whether or not you agree with me.
Okay.
First of all, everything you said about all those countries, we all know is true. But I also noticed that most of the callers, I could be wrong, most of the callers are female. And I believe the reason for that is that girls naturally talk and share what is happening in their life, whereas men are told not to share. And that's why you're not having the successful people calling in, because as a society, we teach our children to behave differently. And if I'm wrong, I will admit to that, but that's how I'm seeing it. Every week, I notice there's more ladies calling in. They're brave. They share their bad and their good with you. They comment on how they feel about the program. Where are all the hard-working men? Why are they not calling in? That's what I would like to know.
You know something? That's a very good comment. I never thought of it that way, but I think you're right. I do think that most of the calls that I get are female.
Well, I think that
female,
most men are the family, head of the family,
mm-hmm.
and if they have a secret that they can help other men with, they should be calling in, because that's how we learn and grow, from other people's mistakes and other people's successes.
I could not agree with you more. I totally agree with you.
All right. That's all
you
I
know,
have to say today.
if we, I think we have an obligation. If we know something that's good, that's helped us incredibly in our life, I think it's our responsibility to share that with others. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm sharing my resources and my time and my knowledge, which I've accumulated. I started in this business in 1964, so I've been around a long time. Lots and lots of experience. And I essentially know what I'm talking about, okay? I know how to motivate people, and I'm telling you right now, my mission is to share what I know with others. That's what I'm trying to do.
And,
it's not always easy.
I wish that the male people, the male population would call in, because we could learn a thing or two from them as women, as mothers, as young women, because keeping the secret and bringing it to the grave doesn't help society. All we learn is that the bad ones get away with it all the time. Why don't we hear about the good ones?
Very succinct comments.
All right, Fred, I better stop talking.
Maria, no, I love the call. This is the kind of call I really appreciate.
Thank you.
I'm always looking for ways to do this show better. So if you have any comments and you're out there, give us a call. You know, I asked one of my clients yesterday, actually, is there some way I can improve my show? He'd listen to the show all the time. He said, have more guests. And here I am today without a guest.
Well, you keep doing a great job. Even when I don't call in, the radio is always turned on, because Seattle is my favorite station.
Yeah.
And you happen to be on it, and I do learn. And I've made some huge mistakes in my life, but you know what?
What's the worst mistake you ever made? Can you share it with us?
Pardon me?
Can you share the worst mistake you made with us? You don't have to.
And I lost it all.
You lost it all.
But you know what? I've still got my health, and that counts for everything. So
Sure.
People should keep that in mind. I still have a home. I have the people I love around me, and that means a lot too. But it would be nice if people can share their little secrets on how to get back up there, because it is tough.
Well, sure it is. And next week, I believe I'm having Don Nexdorf on, who's done shows with me before, and we talk about health and wealth, and I think they kind of go hand in hand. They rhyme and they go hand in hand. You know, I think fundamentally that health is even more important than wealth, but it's hard to have one without the other. And I know lots of extremely wealthy people who've lost their health that would give up all their wealth just to get their health back if they could.
Yes, and we know some pretty famous ones that will do anything to have lived longer, but that's life, right?
Yeah, but you know, one of the things you have to do is make sure that your wealth lives as long as you do.
Yes.
That's the important. I mean, what's the point in being 120 years of age if you're broke?
I don't think I want to go there. I'd rather live 50 as a rich person.
Yeah. Well, Maria, I can't tell you how much I appreciate your call.
Yeah, keep up the good work.
Thanks a lot. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye for now. Okay, I think we have to go to the break, do we not? Okay, so we got a call coming in right now, and we'll take that call as soon as we come back after the break. We're going to go to the break. We're going to talk more about this, and we're going to kind of switch to motivation when we come back, because I think motivation, to be successful at anything, you have to be motivated to be successful. So we're going to talk about motivation when we come back. Don't go away.
Fred Snyder.
I want people to call the show that are genuinely interested in increasing their financial IQ so that they can become financially independent sooner and stay financially independent longer.
Fred Snyder.
You don't have a blueprint. Imagine trying to build a house without a blueprint. And how about having a blueprint for your life? What are your lifestyle goals? You need to think about your family life. What are your goals about your family life? What are your lifestyle goals when it comes to health? What are your lifestyle goals when it comes to finances, mental and spiritual? You have to set goals in all those areas, not just finances.
Fred Snyder.
Often we fail because we put too much emphasis on one area and ignore everything else. We work our butts off and we ruin our health. So life is all about balance. So you need a life plan.
Fred Snyder.
Napoleon Hill says this, wrote the book Think and Grow Rich. Anything that you can vividly imagine, ardently desire, and enthusiastically act upon will inevitably come to pass.
Fred Snyder.
My goal, my mission is to help people enhance their financial IQs by teaching them what they need to know to make better financial decisions.
Fred Snyder, Saturday mornings at 8 and Sunday mornings at 10 on Smooth and Easy, CIL 650. This is CISL Vancouver. Smooth and easy, CIL 650. Welcome back to It's Your Money on CIL 650. If you have a question for Fred, call 604-280-0650. Now, back to Fred.
Okay, we're back. Remind you once again, ladies and gentlemen, we're back and we're live. This part of the show on Saturdays is live. Tomorrow there'll be a replay between 10 and 11. It'll be either this show or a previous show, but whatever. When you listen tomorrow, it won't be live, but that doesn't mean you can't call Frida. So when the show is going tomorrow, if you're interested in taking it to the next level, you give Frida a call, and you can reach Frida once again, 604-737-3512. She works both Saturdays and Sundays at the office. So you want to coordinate with me, you can reach Frida either Saturday or Sunday at the office. If you call for Frida on Thursday or Friday, you won't get her because she's off on those 2 days and she works the 2 days on the weekend instead. So call Frida if you want to coordinate with me, and we'll be happy to deal with whatever issue you want. But remember, the main reason for calling Frida is you either have an account, you want it reviewed, or you have a financial plan that you want updated, or you don't have a financial plan, you want to get one, and you want an analysis in writing of your investment portfolio. They're all important reasons to give Frida a call. Okay? I got Bernard on the line. I'm not going to take that right now. I'm going to take him in just a minute. But what I want to do right now, I want to go over, I promise I deal with the issue of motivation. One of the greatest books that I've ever read is called The Greatest Salesman in the World by Og Mandino. Okay? This book is a fabulous book. This should be a must-reading for everybody. I often talk about the book Think and Grow Rich. That's a great book too. But this book is kind of along the same lines, but it's even broader in perspective. So I want to talk about the 10 scrolls. I'm not going to go into great detail on these scrolls because I don't have time. Time doesn't allow it. But the first scroll says, today I begin a new life. So every morning that I get up, I say to myself, this is a brand new life. Today, I'm going to change all my bad habits for good habits. And I don't succeed very often, but I try. That gives me direction. It gives me a goal. So today, I begin a new life. So what are some of the habits that I can change today? Okay? The habit of procrastinating. I don't have to do this right now. I'll do it tomorrow. Tomorrow comes, well, I don't have to do it today. I don't feel like it. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it when I get a raise. I'll do it when the baby's born. I'll do it when Junior finishes college. This is called procrastination. Today I begin a new life. I'm going to change that. I'm going to become proactive, not reactive, in terms of how I deal with my money. I'm going to call Snyder and make arrangements to get myself a written financial plan. Today I begin a new life. I mean, I can elaborate on that for the whole rest of the show, but I'm not going to do that. The next one is the scroll mark 2. I greet this day with love in my heart. I love everybody. I'm going to get rid of all those ill feelings. That guy did this to me, I'm going to get even with him. No, I'm going to greet this day with love in my heart. Because ultimately, when you think about it, life, the meaning of life is love. Imagine if there was no such thing as love. So that's an attitude. I'm going to change that attitude. I want you to think about that. I'll persist until I succeed. I'm never going to give up. Ever. I get knocked down, I'm going to get up and start to fight all over again. I'm going to be persistent. I'm going to be dogmatic. I'm going to be stubborn. I'm going to dig my heels in, and I'm going to persist until I succeed. Succeed at what? Well, that means your goals. If you don't have any goals, how can you succeed? There's nothing to aim for. You got to have goals, and I'm going to have some goals, and I'm going to persist in pursuing those goals until I'm successful, by my own definitions. The scroll marked 4, I am nature's greatest miracle. Tell me something. Who else in the world is exactly like you? There isn't a duplicate anywhere. You are unique. And I am nature's greatest miracle. Think about what a human being does. Think about the parts that continue to work for years and years and years. You are nature's greatest miracle. I'll live this day as if it is my last. If this was your last day on this earth, what would you do? And you should do that every day, because you don't know. You don't know whether it's your last day or not. Nobody knows. I will be master of my emotions, which means I'm not going to get angry. Now, who can say they never get angry? But I'm going to become the boss of my emotions. If I get angry, I'm going to do it because I chose to get angry, not because I just lost my temper. Okay? I'm going to master my emotions. Think about it. Think about how many times you've been angry and then regretted it. I'll laugh at the world. Be able to laugh at yourself. Some of the silly, dumb things that you do sometimes, okay? I'll laugh at the world. The two are kind of tied together, master my emotions and I'll laugh at the world. But really, that's why people like watching comedy. They like to laugh. So laugh at the world. I will multiply my value 100-fold. Learn to take advantage of compound interest and properly invest, pay yourself first, all the things that we talk about on this show. I'm going to increase my net assets. I'm going to become a millionaire, a zillionaire, whatever. I'm going to multiply my value 100-fold. That really is about personal growth and development, because that's where it starts. Having is the result of being. If you want to have stuff, you got to become first. So that involves self-development. Body, mind, soul, all those issues. I will act now. I already talked about it earlier, but there's no point in planning to do something if you never do it. Someone once said, talking about it isn't doing it, planning it isn't doing it, thinking about it isn't doing it, only doing is doing it. And that's right. And it means doing it now. That means a phone call. And number 10, I will pray for guidance. I won't ask God to give me stuff. I will pray to God to help me find what I'm looking for. I'll ask for help in my own self-development, personal growth and development, etc., etc. So those are the 10 scrolls. And I think this was awesome. The whole book, The Greatest Salesman, is built around these scrolls. I suggest you get a copy of the book. So I'm going to go right now and I'm going to talk to Bernard. Bernard, welcome to the program.
Hey, Fred, how are you?
Pretty good, Bernard. How are you?
Day. Oh, I'm doing fantastic. I really appreciate you helping to mentor me over the years, and I just want to honor and thank you for that.
Okay,
and
thank you.
Yeah. You know, I've known you for how many years, Fred? 20?
About 20, somewhere around
20
that,
at
yeah.
least.
Mm-hmm.
And had a lot of good times together. That fishing trip that I won on the radio program, I really got to know you and your family well. And, you know, I was going through a bit of a career change, you know, recently. And
you were laid off, and you know,
yeah.
that's a good point. So what happens? What are some of the risks that people face in their financial life? And one of the risks in your financial life is to have exactly what happened to you. You were downsized or outside or outsourced or whatever in your job. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I know, and you know, here I am at 54 years young. You know, I still got another how many more years to go to retirement? But,
well, as many as you want, Bernard. You don't have to retire at 65.
And as you always said, most people don't plan to fail, they just fail to plan. Yeah. But luckily that I was proactive and got a good mentor like you to help me along this journey.
So you just got yourself a new job selling cars?
Yeah, I'm just my first day today at the Richmond Subaru here at number 3 Road at 3511 number 3 Road, and I'm just hoping to, you know.
So how many cars did you sell today?
This is my first car dealership that I'm at today, and it's like the number 1 selling car, Subaru. I've owned 4 of them in my life. They sponsor the triathlons. They do a lot of goodwill. They're just amazing car. And, you know, so because if anyone does call into your radio show, what I'm going to be offering, if they call in, I'll just give them a free entertainment book on my dime, you know, because I really see the value in saving money. Like $1 saved, you always said to me, Fred, is $2 earned.
So you're adding, so people who call this show, you're going to give them an entertainment book.
That's right.
Okay, so I'll give you a list of the callers.
Yeah, and if anyone calls in, but they have to come in to pick it up for me because I'm at the dealership. That's the only way it's better to deliver it that way. So I need them to come down to Richmond Subaru at 3511 number 3 Road,
Okay.
in Richmond. And if you want to, can I give him my phone number to call? Or
You can give your phone number out, but then we got to end it there. I got to move along. I got a lot
sure.
of calls coming
The
in.
phone number here to call is 604-273-0333. That's 604-273-0333, or www.richmondsubaru.com. And my name is Bernard.
I have to move along. I got callers on the lines. I can't tell you how much I appreciate your call, though. Enjoy the rest of the weekend. Take care. Let's talk to Betty from New Westminster. Betty, welcome to the program.
Well, good morning, Fred. How are you?
Pretty good, Betty. How are you?
Fine, thanks. I'm a regular listener to your program.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed very much.
Thank you.
Yeah. My question is, on your death, are you allowed to leave 85% of your money to your charity? Is that the maximum?
No, I think you can leave everything to your favorite charity.
Sorry?
I don't think you're limited to 85%. You can leave everything to your favorite charity.
Oh, I'm not sure. I'd love to come to your seminar. Is it on Thursday?
What you have to do, what you have to do is call Frida for that.
Yeah.
So you want to attend a seminar, you give Frida a call, and you can reach Frida right now. She's down at the office. You can get her at 604-737-3512.
Thank you.
And put your name in for a seminar. That'll be at the Holiday Inn, more than likely on Broadway.
Right.
And we're going to talk about 30 ways to ease the tax bite, 30 ways to reduce the taxes you pay.
If I can't make it, could I get a copy of your report?
Yeah, I think so, sure. Okay, but we can't send that out right away. I got to have that approved by our advertising people.
Thank you,
But
Fred.
it's ready for approval, and once it's approved, no problem.
Bye-bye.
Okay, Betty, appreciate your call. So Betty's line is now open. So again, ladies and gentlemen, if you just tuned in, I'm certified financial planner Fred Snyder, also registered financial planner. We got to go in about 13 minutes. And you want to get a call in, you want to get a second opinion on your investment portfolio, you want to get a chance to win Cash Flow 101. That's how to improve your cash flow. That's your budget, really. Teaches you how to budget. That's a really worthwhile gift. That's $250 is what those things cost. And secondly, you get your will prepared. I'll get Tim Lack to prepare a will at my expense, and we'll have a draw for that with about 5 minutes to go. So you better get your call in before that last 5 minutes. Okay, let's talk to Helen from Richmond. Helen, welcome to the program.
Hi, Fred. How are you today?
Pretty good, Helen. Recognize your voice. Thanks for calling.
Oh, well, I'm looking forward to coming to class. We are, and, are really keen. I'm looking forward to it. And I was going to tell you that I read in Zoomer magazine that 50% of the seniors that retire on $24,000 a year or less. And I was shocked.
Well, that's true.
A lot of them are women. So thank you for helping the ladies who've spent 20 years doing kids, making less money, and they need the help a lot.
Well, Helen, when it comes to the accumulation of money, society as a whole fails miserably. There's some numbers out. I did a newsletter, and I haven't used it on this show yet. I plan on it at some point. But I did an exhaustive study on global wealth. And 50% of the people, 50% of the people in the world, how many people are in the world? About 6.5 billion. So half of those people live on less than $1 a day. Less than $1 a day. Half the wealth in the world is owned by 1% of all the people in the world.
Yeah.
50% of the world's wealth is owned by 1%. Now, no wonder it's easy for ISIS to recruit people because they're paying them all $20,000 a year. And these people are coming from a poor family and they have nothing to lose in the first place.
And I feel so bad for the kids. And when you help the women, you help the kids. So thank you.
So the solutions to these problems are almost universal. And it starts with these are cliches, but you teach a person to fish, or you give a person a fish and they eat for a day, you teach them how to fish and they eat for a lifetime.
Yeah.
So we have to be able to teach these poor people in the world how to fish. And we haven't done a very good job of that. We just give them money, and then they get the greedy guys grab it all.
Yeah. Well,
and it doesn't filter down to the poor people.
You're helping so many of the Vancouver people, really and truly.
I missed that. I didn't hear you.
I said you're helping so many of the local people here.
I hope
in the
so.
Vancouver area.
I don't know anybody else that does what I do here in Vancouver right now.
No.
Okay, Helen, I appreciate your call. I want you to enjoy the rest of the weekend.
Thanks so much. You too.
You take care and have a good day.
Yeah, bye for now.
Bye for now. So again, just to give you some food for thought, here's a newborn baby, just was born, and says 22,463 days left until retirement. Now, I don't think that guy is listening to the show right now. But basically, fundamentally, that's the average lifetime, 22,463 days. Don't squander them. Ask yourself, how many days do I have left between now and retirement? That's why you can't procrastinate. You can't put it off. You got to do it now. And doing it now means you have to get yourself a written financial plan. That's a blueprint that says, this is where I stand today. Here's a list of my hopes, my plans, my dreams, and my ambitions. Here's what the goals that represent them are. This is a list of my assets, my liabilities, my income, and my expenses. That's where I stand today. These are the modifications I'm going to make in my assets, my liabilities, my income, and my expenses. And this is my budget. This is how much I need to live every month. And this is how much I need to spend every month or earn to cover that. Those numbers are all crunched and they're laid out in a document. And that document is called a written financial plan. So think about that, okay? Think about that seriously. How can you achieve something that's meaningful if you do not have a plan? I suggest you go to the bank and tell the bank manager, I want to start a business. And I need to borrow $500,000 to get started. And the bank manager says, well, let me see your business plan. And you say, I don't have one. You think you're going to get the loan? You don't have a hope in hell, ladies and gentlemen and listeners out there. You need a plan. The plan's the thing. One of the companies I used to work for years ago called Investors, they call it the plan. That's their core stuff. And it's all in big capital letters, like it's something biblical almost. The plan, okay? And I think it is. I think the plan is everything, okay? So if you don't have a plan, you're planning to fail. You either plan to succeed or you plan to fail. Planning to succeed means you have a plan. Planning to fail is you don't have a plan. Part of your plan is, this is how I'm going to convert my bad debt to good debt. Part of your plan is, this is how much money I'm going to put away for Johnny so that he can attend university when he turns 18 for 4 years. This is how much money I'm going to need. That's in there. This is my plan to pay off my mortgage. This is my plan to have the right amount of life insurance. This is my investment plan to have the best investments inside my investment plan that are available. There's 21,000 investment funds out there, and most people listening to this show probably own some investment funds. But do you know whether those investment funds that you currently hold are the best investment funds there are? You see, I'm going to say that again. You owe it to yourself. You owe it to your family to own the best investment funds that are available. So how do you determine what are the best investment funds? How do you make that determination? Well, there's software that can do the calculations for you, and that's really what you should do, okay? So I got a winner. I don't know what she won, though, because I got 2 gifts I'm giving away, a free will and Cash Flow 101. So we need another draw. So Maria wins Cash Flow 101, and that was a nice call, and I really appreciated Maria's comments, so congratulations, Maria. And who wins the will? Prepared by Tim Lack. Helen gets a will prepared by Tim Lack. And that's only because you made a phone call, and there's no cost. There is no obligation whatsoever. So if you want to coordinate with myself, you do so by calling Frida. Frida's down at the office. You can reach Frida. This is the most important number of all. I'm going to give it out really slowly. It's area code 604-737-3512. 604-737-3512. Now, 800-661-1495. If you're driving in your car, you can't write those numbers down or remember them, you can call me on my cell phone. my cell phone is easy to remember, is 644-7526. The 7526 stands for plan. 644-PLAN. I'm going to say it again, 644-PLAN. So if you can't get any of those numbers, you can call me on my cell phone, 644-7526, 644-PLAN. So again, we've been talking about your money, more importantly about your money and how to keep it. And I'm going to start winding up. Ask yourself a simple question right now. What did I learn? I listened to Fred's show today. What did I learn today? Be able to articulate what you learned. Write it down, because that's what you'll remember. What did I learn by listening to Fred's show today? Probably the most important thing that I've talked about, and that I do talk about, is don't spend everything you earn. Spend less than what you earn. Now, that's easier said than done. Not easy sometimes. Cost of living is going up, unexpected expenses. But it means if you're spending more than you earn, you're probably operating without a budget. Your budget defines your income from all sources, your deductions at source, so how much you have left to spend, and then defines your expenses. How much do I spend for the roof over my head? How much does my transportation cost? If I have a car, what's it cost to drive my car? I don't have a car, I ride a bicycle. Well, maybe I eat extra food to get the energy to ride the bicycle. Who knows? But again, how much do I give to charity, the church? How much does my vacation cost? What do my groceries cost? We did a show a while back on all these topics, and we polled the audience as to what they spend on groceries and so on and so forth. And the numbers were all over the place. Some guy actually said it only costs $100 a month for groceries. I'd like to see him because he's probably pretty skinny. The average cost, according to Stats Canada, for groceries in Canada is about $250 to $300 a month for an adult. So if you have a kid that's still living at home that's 18 years of age and he's not contributing to the household expenses, that's what he's eating in groceries. Maybe you should tell him that. Okay? I want you to start thinking seriously about your money. Get serious and start saying, I'm going to manage my money. I'm going to manage what's coming in. I'm going to manage what's going out. I'm going to manage my assets. I'm going to manage my liabilities. And the best way to do that is get a written financial plan and keep it up to date. I'm going to call Frida, and Frida will arrange all that for me. So Frida, once again, main number, 604-737-3512. Give Frida a call. She's down at the office. She'll be down there all day, and she's there tomorrow as well. That doesn't mean you should put it off and say, well, I won't call her today. I'll call her tomorrow. Call her right now, okay? If you want to call her again tomorrow, that's okay, but don't procrastinate. Take that step. I want to thank you all for listening, and I want to thank you for your participation. And most of all, I'd like to thank Dwayne for directing everything in there. He's right on the ball. And again, we'll see you next week, same time, same station. But don't forget to listen tomorrow. Bye for now.
If you'd like Fred to review your portfolio, call his office right now at 604-737-3512. That's 604-737-3512.